Let's get started. So welcome everybody. I'm honored, humbled. I'll just tell you that this uh, event came about from many of my regular students commenting when I would say in a regular class, I would say, oh, this is an everyday pose. Oh, I do this pose every day. And I say that a lot. And they probably start wondering, wow, she must practice for 4 hours. Well, yeah, sometimes I do. So that's how it came about. So then when I started talking to Jonathan about how to name the class or whatever, I said, well, it's not really that they're absolutely every day. They're every day until you get them. So, you read the description. We decided to put it, deepening your practice or helping you start a home practice. If you've fallen off the wagon and you don't have a home practice, this would be a way to start one. So as you know, now more than ever, it's important to have a home practice. I know some of you are already practicing at home. Good for you. Others may not be quite yet. You'll be able to use what you learned today to either help you start a home practice or help you deepen what you've already started. I take no credit for any of this, but instead I wish to thank all the many wonderful, amazing Iyengar yoga teachers I've had throughout my 22 years of Iyengar yoga, and ultimately to thank the Iyengar family themselves. So let's just see. Let's see some other formalities. I'm presenting this class, and it's a class, right? But it's not a class. It's a workshop, and we might take a movement or a pose or a version of a pose, and you might say, "Wow, she didn't hold that for very long." So ultimately, it's about your sensitivity to your own body. And that's what, back in May, when Avi came on and offered us this fabulous workshop that a lot of us attended, a lot of the teachers attended, she said, we don't have a teacher right in front of us. We don't have somebody watching every single move we make. So we have to become super, super sensitive to what you are feeling in your own body. Okay, so that's out there. Okay, so I may or may not make very many corrections because this class is being recorded for the archives, and it'd be something where you could just find it in the archives and do it if you wanted to. So, but in that light, if you have a question or something is not clear, please send me a chat message, or you can unmute yourself. That's fine as well. But keep it more general, or if there is something that is really personal, then just do the chat option. Let's see. So I'm going to start with, before you guys, anybody starts a yoga practice, we are assuming, as teachers, we are assuming that you are practicing the 5 yamas and the 5 niyamas. So I'm really just going to go through them kind of quickly. You're all practicing nonviolence, ahimsa. It's the first one, and whenever there's a list in any of the sutras, there's a list, and the first thing in a list, that's a telltale sign that it is the most important. So without nonviolence, we can't have the second one. We can't have truth. So truth being the second one, satya, asteya, abstention from stealing, continence, brahmacharya, aparigraha, absence of greed or possessions from beyond one's need. So we are assuming that all of y'all are adopting these. And then the niyamas, cleanliness. So socha, I'll say them in Sanskrit first. Socha, santosha, tapas, svadhyaya, ishvara, pranidhana are the niyamas. So cleanliness, contentment, religious zeal, self-study, surrender of the self to the supreme self or God. are the neons. So in light of you having accepted these, I want to bring your attention to Sutra 120. And so Patanjali has given us this practice, if you will, in order for us, it's really like a blueprint for living. That's what many of my teachers have called it, a blueprint for living. So this practice must be pursued with trust, that's Shraddha, confidence, Virya, Smriti, Samapati, so it's trust, confidence, vigor, keen memory, and the power of absorption, so that we can break this kind of spiritual complacency. And I'm speaking for myself, especially in the times we're in, sometimes we can be quite blah, blah. My dad's 82nd birthday was this past Monday, and I went to see him, and he literally, I said, how are you? And he just said, I'm blah. So we have to break this spiritual complacency now more than ever. And so, he gives us tools to do this. And one of them is by contemplating on an object that helps us maintain our steadiness of mind or consciousness. So what I'm going to ask you today is that object that you're going to be concentrating on is you. I'd like to present the pose and say, this is how I do it. But if you know already, and maybe some of you are, strong or younger practitioners, you know how to do it to the best for your body, right? You have some modifications that work better for you, then you do it that way. Whether it's ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, things like that. Now, let's say that's true. You have some ways of doing things. Don't be surprised. You might just learn something by doing it how I showed today. But if it's impossible, then you go back to your norm. I hope that makes sense. I have categorized this workshop into 4 categories or 4 groups. Some of them cross over, meaning they serve at least 2 purposes. For example, the supine or the supta poses are for lengthening our backsides, our spine, our hamstrings. The shoulder openings, the Hasta Mudra work, is to keep our shoulders healthy and to open up our chest. I think I've mentioned in many a class how shoulders are have now replaced hips and knees with the orthopedic docs. How many people are coming to them for shoulders, hips, and knees? Shoulders are number 1 right now. So we got to keep those healthy. The next category, forward folding, twists, and seated upright poses. They help us soften our brains and lengthen our spine. So that's a crossover. And then the backward extensions, also healthy spine and opening our chest. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to go to the back of I've got a T shape with my mat. If you don't have 2 mats, don't worry about it. But see, this is one mat and this is another mat. We're going to change the orientation after the first couple things that we do. So don't worry about where the second mat is. Just have your first mat. Doesn't matter. The wall is not a factor, so you don't have to be near a wall. So you're kneeling up. It's Adho Virasana. Oh my gosh. How many different ways are there to do Adho Virasana? I would say, just off the top of my head, probably 10 that I know, and probably 10 more that my teachers know. So just bear with me here. So my big toes are together, my knees are at least the width of the hips or perhaps a little bit wider. Okay, so the idea is to lengthen the hamstrings towards the buttocks. So, lean over a little bit and get that skin from the back of your knee and pull it up strong to the buttock flesh. Pull it past the buttock bones and have a sit. Okay, hopefully everybody's there. Now, if this is a problem for ankles, do you know what to do? I'll just show really, really fast if you don't. So you would take some support underneath your ankles, maybe, you know, a half of a folded up blanket, which is not necessary for everybody. There. Okay, so then what's the other modification? The thighs and the calves need to stay in contact with one another. So if, watch, I'll take the first effect. I need to get rid of that because I don't need that, but you know that option. And I need to lengthen this again. Pull that back. All right, so the groins stay back. So what I'm going to do is make a C shape. One of the teachers in the last workshop that we did, she called this shape the mouth of the tiger. So make your hands like the mouth of the tiger and put them at the top of the thigh crease. Now here you can do a little, you know, chest opening, draw the shoulders back, see how far back my elbows are, and I push down and back. Down and back. Okay, then I start to come forward, and as long as this stays in contact with the heels, I'm good. If it's not, you know who you are. You need to put something underneath, between the calves and the thighs. So I'll show that in just a moment. So the rest of you, coming forward. Now, when I get to the point where I can feel some of this rib cage touching my thighs, then I say, okay, that's all I can do, but I keep this back. Then I grab onto the edges of my sticky mat firmly, and I pull. So I'm kind of pushing the sticky mat forward so that I can pull or extend the front of the spine forward. All right, now the other thing is that we got to keep our head on something. When we go down, the head has to be on something. So those of you who know that your head doesn't go on something, you have some support. So I'll show without and then with. So here we go. I pull forward. I'm pushing back with, keep the hips back, and I'm extending forward. Okay, then I say that's all I got, and I extend the arms forward. Head down. Head must be on some support. If that doesn't work, here's your, this can be as high as it's needed. As high as it's needed. Head on some support. Go forward. Okay, now here you're using your arms very strongly to extend the side body forward, the armpit chest forward, and also to help you keep your shoulder blades down into your back. It's the most basic of the forward bends, but these things must be learned. How the hamstring has to stay towards the buttock, how this lower back area has to move towards the back body, and then the back body moves in towards the front body, and the front body extends forward. Head quiet, soft. In all of these supine poses, try to find your place, and then, you know, examine. Have that sensitivity to your own body. What do you need to fix so that you can go to a quiet place in your mind? That's the most important thing. I'm going to have a look with everybody. And hopefully you, yeah. And Becky, you're doing that because of knees, I assume. Yeah, you can just give me a thumbs up. Okay. Oh, lower back. Okay. All right, Lena, if your arms are, your head is on the support, can you give yourself 2 bricks as well? That's going to be better because you're so high up there. You could give yourself 2 bricks, and let's say you're like this, right? So your arms should be in the same line as your head, basically. Okay. All right, so you got a taste of Adho Mukha Virasana. There's lots of variations. Keep in mind, you know, you have to have that sensitivity to your own body and see what you need. All right, everybody inhale and come up. And I guess Becky just watched to see if you may not be able to do this either, but that was a good modification. You could, I'll see what you can do. So now it's Parshva. Parshva to the side. So this is different from those of you who were in class this past Monday. We did Parivrita, which is a twisting, turning, revolved version of Adho Mukha Virasana. This is not. This is just a Parshva to the side. Literally means to the side. So here I am facing, you know, the wall. I'm just going to turn to my right, and that left side of, remember where you did the eye of the tiger, mouth of the tiger, that stays down. Okay, so then I'm going to come forward, keep the buttocks down, and reach the trunk forward. In every pose that we're doing today, you have to remember these poses are best had before you can move on to more difficult or more challenging poses. And then again, you know, those folks who need help, you know, maybe you take the bricks here, and maybe you've got your support there for your head. Okay, can you see how I've got the bricks and the head support? Don't turn, don't change your shins, don't change the outer placement of your thighs, and then go forward. So both sides of the trunk extending evenly as possible. Okay, keep the buttocks down, keep the groin soft. Oh, Becky, you could do this from a chair, right? Those of you who find any of the knee or the ankle stiffness terribly difficult, let me just show this because this might be good for some of you. So Becky, I put it on your Virasana like this, maybe. And this could be as high as you need it to be. Okay, then to the Parshva, I'll go to this side so you can see better. Very effective for lengthening that side body. Both sides, but you'll feel it more on the side you're moving away from. So perfectly acceptable 2-chair. Good girl. She's got 2 chairs. 2 chairs for Adho Parshva, Adho Mukha Virasana. Okay. All right. Have you been sensitive to yourself? The knees are wide, Ryan. Go wider. Knees are wide, wide. So you can feel your side ribs touch the inner thigh. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and now that was just one side, right? Come up and do the second side if you haven't already. If you have, just wait. Okay. Adho Mukha Virasana and Parshva Adho Mukha Virasana. 2 of the foundational or seed poses for the forward bends that must be understood. Sensitize everything you're feeling. Let your body, let your mind feel those things. Okay, now All right, inhale and come up. All right, so still side view. You'll be taking Virasana. So I hesitate to have this in there, but I'm feeling like everybody should be able to do some version of Virasana. If you can't, you'll sit in a chair and you'll do the arm things that we're going to do from a seated position. I'll show that in a second. So my knees are together, my feet are roughly, sit on a block. So the block is this wide, flat way, right in between my heels. Okay, now remember, back of the thighs, hamstrings towards the buttocks, and have a seat. Okay, see if you can get the heel outside the hip. Okay, and more so to pass the time in Virasana. We'll do some arm work here. Okay, arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. So just take your arms out parallel to the floor and turn those inner upper arms out, outer upper arm in. It's like you're sucking this outer arm to the armpit chest, and then take the arms up. Right now your palms are facing the ceiling, but when you go up, the palms should just face one another. Okay, now be sensitive, have your body awareness everywhere to know what you're doing in this pose. That would be not to take the ribs forward and the sacrum back, right? So sacrum has to stay vertical, the ribs have to stay back, the head has to stay right over the spine. So reach those arms up. Good. And now interlace your fingers, turn the palms on towards the ceiling, and place the backs of your hands on top of your head. This is Vada Angulyasana. So see how I want you to draw the elbows back. So here's the elbows are forward. I draw my elbows back and I lift the trunk up. So I want more space between where the thighs are, the thigh and the hip crease and the thigh and the trunk. Elbows back. Now straighten the arms, head back. Use your arms to help you lift your rib cage, to lift your side body, to lift your chest. Okay, if the elbows bend, always know you can go back to just Urdhva Hastasana. Separate the fingers. In all of these poses, if I go one step further, then you can't do that, then you do the previous thing. Okay, put your hands back on top of your head. Change the interlock so it feels like the odd way. Put the back of your hands on your head. Pull those elbows back. Draw the trapezium, the shoulder blades down your back. Lift the trunk. Exhale as you go up. Arms straight. Head back. You can even use the head as another karmendriya, another organ of action, to help you lengthen and elongate the spine. Look up. Breathe. Okay, and then release the arms. If you have another block or stack of blankets, put that behind you. I've got it on the second height, so this is the second height. It could be the tall height, but you'll see. So it's right in between. It lines up, to the sacrum. Okay, keep pushing the thighs forward. Have the sensitivity that your shins are on their center. Okay, the thighs want to roll in. Don't let them. Press on the outer knees. Okay, so once again, Urdhva Hastasana arms. And now turn to your right and grab that block behind you, that elbow. Both elbows can bend actually. It's nice when both elbows bend, and it helps you feel like this chest is broadening. Lift your ribs. So it's Parshva Virasana. And then if you're on the chair, those of you who can't do the Virasana, on the chair, you can just be here and turning. You can also sit side saddle to the chair and turn. Either way. Okay, now come back to the front. And those, if you are a seasoned yoga practitioner and you don't need this brick on the underneath the bricks, feel free to get rid of that and sit on the floor. The sacrum is parallel to the front of the pubis. That block's behind you. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, turn to your left. Turn your back body. Imagine those right back ribs moving closer to the spine, the left back ribs moving closer to the front of the trunk. Bend the elbows and turn and lift. Don't let the buttocks come up. Okay. Okay. All right. Inhale and come up. In the Iyengar method, I'm sure some of you know this, the best way to come up is we come up on all fours, you cross the ankles, sit back down, and straighten the legs. The graceful way, at least. Okay, so now there's so many different ways to teach Supta Virasana, but I want everybody to know that for me, I did this pose every day for probably 45 days, very early in my Iyengar career, because I did have a lot of stiffness with I was a runner, so I had a lot of stiffness with my ankles and feet, and every day for 45 days, every time it got easier. So I'm gonna start with the easiest version. If you know you can do Supta Virasana, it's easy for you, and you can keep that sacrum lifted, you do it that way. Otherwise, try it like this. You might learn something. So I've got a bolster. I'm going to take another blanket, for my head. Okay, now, if you need the block to sit on, right? If you still can't, this is a big fat bolster. So if you don't have the bolster, you could have a stack of blankets that are as long as the bolster. But my point is, if you need still the brick to sit on, then you'll have to make your bolster higher. This is probably okay. See how the bolster is at least the length of my fingers higher than the brick. So watch. So I'm gonna sit on the brick. So remember this, lengthen the hammies upwards. Okay, and then I'm going to come back all like one unit. So my sacrum is really pressing, and I'm gonna come to my hands. I keep the sacrum pulling up and in, and I find the brick, okay? Maybe come to my elbows, lengthen the trunk, and then down. So it's a pretty comfortable place. You can have two bolsters, right? You can have, I think the height, I've never had anybody on more than maybe 3, but you could do something like this. Here's another option. Same idea. Okay, have I got everybody in some form of Supta Virasana? I'll give you a little bit of time to get there. Supine hero pose. Okay, Donnie, don't let your head go back quite so much. Support your head with another blanket. or maybe a block and then a blanket. Sacrum must lift. Keep lifting the sacrum up and in, and shoot your thighs towards your knees. Lengthen the thighs towards the knees. Lena, are you okay?
Michelle, I have a pain here.
All right, so Lena, you know you have that nice couch back there. You could do it over the couch. Let me see. If you want me to see how you are, I just can't see your side view. It would be better if I could see your side view. Okay, so it's easy for you, so keep lifting the sacrum up and in. Yeah, up and in, and make those knees descend. Outer knees down. All right, Ryan. Sacrum up, up. Sacrum up. Lift the sacrum up and in. Tailbone up and in. Okay, now see if you can come down to your elbows.
I have one question. We sit between the heels, right? Not on the top of the heels.
You sit, right. You do not sit on your feet. I was going to add that it's page 121 in Light on Yoga. If Virasana is difficult for you, do page 121 every day. It's 4 things. I'm not going to teach it. It's very easy. You can do it on your own. Yeah, I would say, Lena, go to your couch. You've got that nice couch back there. Put your bolster slanted up against the couch. Slanted. Oh, you've got a pillow. Okay. And then put that black pillow behind it. But put the black pillow on the floor. Black pillow on the floor, standing up. On the floor, standing up against your couch. Does that make sense? So you're doing something like this. This is the couch. Does that make sense? And it's leaning. And then you're sitting on your brick or hike. Yeah, and you know, when you guys email me, if there was a particular pose that you want some variations of, I'm happy to send you pictures of those. I mean, they're all available on the internet, but it might be helpful. Ryan, what happened? So here's what I'm asking is, you know, the staying ability is what's going to help you deepen your practice. When you stay, what do you feel? Observe those sensations. How is Lena doing? Were you able to lean back? It looks like you've got it in the right place on your couch. And Chaya's unable to do Supta Virasana right now? Yeah, that's okay. You know, you must have reasons. So I trust you. So Kathy, sacrum up and in. Kathy Lindauer, sacrum up and in. Yeah. Do you see when you lift, do you feel, I hope, when I ask you to lift your sacrum up and in, does it make your knees go down? It should. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The head should be just a little bit higher than the rest of the body. Okay. All right. All right, so Supta Virasanas may be a challenging pose for you. Look at page 121 on Light on Yoga and work on your position of your feet. It will help you greatly. Okay, so now this one's pretty easy. Come up. So if you're coming up from your Supta Virasana, folks, same idea. You've come up, cross your feet, and then you begin to sit back, and you can get rid of your bolster back there, and then straighten the legs. All right, now I'm going to show you from the wall so you can see how helpful it is as far as alignment. But the pose is just Dandasana. Dandasana. And I'm going to ask you to be against the wall, and then you use your own sensitivity and your own discrimination to decide whether you want to stay at the wall. Okay, so I've got my knees purposely bent a little bit. I'm up on my heels. I pick myself up with my hands, and I put my sacrum on the wall. Okay, then I slide down the wall. So I know I'm erect. I'm straight up. I press my thighs down. Your feet can just be hip distance apart. That's fine. Okay. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So Dandasana, staff pose. The legs are pressing down, so the spine, the trunk can lift up. So like we did just previously for Virasana, we took the arms out, turn the inner upper arms out, and now go up. So can you feel, I can, my shirt is kind of rubbing up against the wall. Taller and taller. If you can turn your palms to the wall, even better. Get that rotation of that shoulder joint. Reach up, press the thighs down, reach the trunk up. Okay, so now you know who you are. If that was difficult, you stay there. If it wasn't, you scoot away from the wall a little bit. You can keep the bricks at the wall. We didn't do this with the first version because the mat helped to do it. Remember when I had you like this? The mat kind of pulled your thighs back towards your buttocks. So now you're away from the wall. Do that with your hands. Pull your thighs back to the buttocks and roll the fronts of the thighs towards the floor. All right, so now Dandasana, Urdhva Hastasana. Press the thighs down, reach up. So this trunk is making more space between, especially, from the crease to the floating ribs. Lift up. Okay, now it's Parshva. So you're turning to the right, and you've got that brick behind you. You don't need both of them, and you turn. So don't change the legs, but turn your torso to the right. So the right back side of the body is turning towards the spine. The left side of the body is turning towards the front of the body. All right, and then back up to Urdhva Hastasana. Reach up, and then exhale, turn to your left. Parshva Dandasana. Don't change the legs. Keep pressing the legs down. Lift the trunk up. You can bend that back elbow. You might look down and see, oh, the right side is a little bit lower, so I have to lift that up more. Parshva Dandasana. Okay, then release from that. Okay. Sit with your right side to the camera in Dandasana, away from the wall. I'm going to call this a warm-up Janu Shirshasana. A warm-up Janu Shirshasana. You can sit up on as much height as needed. So the buttocks, I might be double folded blanket. I'll show you why you might need the height. So you'll turn your right leg out, and it's all your arm. The arm is doing all the work. The leg is not doing anything. The right leg. It's just relaxed. So I turn the right leg out. I reach underneath the shin and try to spin that shin to the floor. Okay, so my knee is either in line to the hip or behind the hip. This is fine. All right, beginners, or this is difficult for you, you may just line up your right foot with your left thigh. So now the knee for beginners can be in front of the hip. In front of the hip. All right, so I'm going to call this swimming Janu Shirshasana. So release that buttock flesh back, spread the buttocks to the sides. And now you're just kind of, watch first. So I'm swimming in Janu Shirshasana, not letting this knee come down, come up. So this hand, your left hand is holding the floor near the knee. And 2, on the 5th time, you'll stay. Okay, now can you just hold either middle of the shin, ankle, or foot, and turn. Turn the torso, the trunk, towards that straight leg so that the right side of your navel lines up to the inside of the left leg. So those of you who found that difficult, you know there's always a strap in Iyengar Yoga. So you might have a looped strap, and at the end you've just reached for the strap and you turn your torso. Keep that knee down, lift the trunk up. So this is a version for more of a beginner student. Just upright. Upright and turn. Okay, it's called, I call it swimming Janu Shirshasana or Parshva Janu Shirshasana eventually. All right, so then get back to Dandasana. If I show you, you don't have to change, but just to show you, I'll go to the other side so you can see the pose from this side. Okay, left leg goes out. Roll the left thigh out, reach underneath both hands so that the ankle is in touch with its same thigh or inner groin. Otherwise, the beginners are here where the knee is in front of the hip and you may have already have your strap on. You could just leave it there and do the swimming thing. Inhale, lift up, exhale, dive. Really, we're just trying to limber up those hip sockets and extend the back, extend the spine. 4 and 5. Now here I can even use the blanket behind me to help me turn more. And now I say to myself, boy, do I have that left side of the navel coming closer to the inside of the right leg? And hopefully you can answer yes. Have that discriminative awareness, that sensitivity to feel what you're feeling. You know, most of yoga is, knowledge. It's about getting to know you inside and out. So you're either here or the foot pose, holding the foot and turn. The straight leg has its job also to press down. Definitely has to press down and turn. So if you can use your breath on the inhalation, extend upwards, lift your abdomen, lower abdomen, navel, thoracic spine, and on your exhalation, turn more. And then release. Okay. Wow. Here we go. One page done. All right. This one is all groins. So, okay. Let me show for the knee people, knee problem people, this is an option. So it's malasana. So but it's with tons of support. So malasana with support deeply can soften your groins. Okay. So I've got, I have a rope ball here, but not everybody has a rope ball. So I'm going to use a doorknob. Now, if you don't have a doorknob, you could use a very heavy piece of furniture to loop your strap around. But let me show you what it looks like. So this is optional. This is for people who need more space at the back of the knee. So I'm doing a little bit awkward. Okay, so see how my groins are down completely. See how much higher my groins are than my hips. My knees are higher than my groins. And I just hold on to that strap. Make it a little bit longer here. I can bend my elbows, and the idea is to soften the groins completely. Okay, so the rest of you, and those of you who can do malasana easy, I urge you still to do it with support. So feet together, sit down, and keep the groin soft. It totally pacifies the groins, and we need that. We sit a lot, we're tight. A lot of us are tight in the groins. You can use the strap to help you lengthen the front of the trunk upwards. But sit the groins down. I hope that was somewhat clear. Those of you who don't have those options, that might have been even too difficult, and just do malasana in your chair. So here we go. I'm sitting way forward of the chair, on the chair, and I'm just folding at the hip crease. You can reach any part of the chair. Or you can just lengthen the trunk forward, but absolutely soften your groins. Okay, that's just a quick with support malasana. Okay, now let's see. Have your bolster nearby and sit up on as much height as you need for Upavishta Konasana. So Upavishta Konasana means literally seated angle. So, the angle is, between the legs and the trunk, but what's seated are the thighs pressing down. So you could be up on this much height, you could be up on this much height. Sit on whatever height you need. I'll show, just start, sit up on that much height. Sit towards, and sit so that you're facing forward, and have your, have a block behind you and your bolster where you can reach. I'll wait a moment, see if everything's getting there. Everybody doing okay? Sit up on height so that, in Dandasana, you could have sat up on height, right? If you felt like you were not able to get the length from the hip crease to the lower, from the navel to the ribs, then you needed height there, so then you probably need height here. Okay. Upavishta Konasana. So, wide leg. Okay, so what I prefer, you know, I sat up on height probably for 7 years. I'm being truthful. Becky, you might remember me sitting up on height in this post. So, I don't need to anymore, but what I do get when I sit up on height is I feel, you know, extra space here in the pelvis. So I'm using that mouth of the tiger to roll the groins slightly back. You know, they're really staying down, but it's really to hear this top of the thigh rolling slightly back, and I'm pulling, you can use your hands, pull the hamstrings toward the buttocks. Reach the calves towards the knees. I still do this every time I practice this pose. I still use my hands. It's great feedback. Okay, so press your thighs down. So if you don't need the height, you know, you're flat, and what's nice about being flat is you can feel the floor. So you're pressing the thighs down. Spend maybe, I've got a second hand. Let's spend 30 seconds just working on both lengthening the hammy towards the buttock flesh, the calf towards the Achilles, and now keeping the hands here. So this is my my method, and I've seen many teachers do this. So I'm turning the palms so the fingers are on the inside, and this strongest part of my hand, which is this thumb mound area, is on the back side. Back. So now I'm just gonna keep the thighs down and just slightly come forward. Keep the thighs pressing down, slightly come forward. No more than this. The coming forward part is so you can feel more pressure on the thighs and how the thighs have to press down. Okay, now can you keep that? Come back upright, pressing those thighs down. Now Urdhva Hasta arms, stretch the arms out, turn the palms up, and reach up. Okay, so someone, I wish it could be me, is standing down on your thighs. Those of you who've had the, I wouldn't call it the honor, but you know, I have come around in this pose and pressed your thighs down for you. So have that memory, someone pressing your thighs down. Okay, now you're turning to your right. So I'm turning, I've got my brick behind me, and I'm turning. I'm not turning the left thigh. I'm turning from this lowest part of the pelvis, navel, ribs, chest, and I turn. We're not going over the leg. We're just doing Utthita Parsha, Upavishta Konasana. Utthita means upright. So what information can you discern from the stability of your legs? And can you translate that or feel that all the way upwards towards your thoracic spine? And can you move the thoracic spine deeper in and turn more? So it's on the inhale, you extend upwards. On the exhale, turn more. Either the hand can stay here in the center, or it can reach over towards that right leg. And if you reach it over towards the right leg, make sure that this left arm hasn't closed your chest. So watch, I draw that shoulder down and I lift the chest up. Yeah. All right, and then back to the front. Wow, almost an hour. Let's see if we start one thing. Reach the arms up and turn to the left. So first you might just keep the hand here. You have the sensitivity of how the legs have to stay seated, pressing down, making a bigger imprint into your floor. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn more. Inhale, lift up, exhale, turn more. If the hand can come to the thigh, let it, but careful that this right armpit doesn't get closed. Lift it up. Shoulder blades deeper into your back. All right, and then back to the front. All right, now I told you to have your bolster nearby. You could have a bolster, you could have another blanket for your head. You don't have to, but I'm just gonna turn sideways to show you. Just go forward. A little bit. So contrary to what you might know about this pose, I'm doing all this again. The abdomen, watch, the abdomen stays back. So I'm kind of pushing that bolster into my abdomen. It's staying back. Now I start to go forward. And I put my head down. So this is all I'm really looking for today. So seat your thighs. Go forward, have head support. Have something for your head. It will pacify your brain, it will settle the brain down, quiet the brain. A block is fine. If that's what you got, you could stack 2 blocks. One flat, one tall. This just gives you a little break because what's coming next. Okay. All right, inhale, come up. And now let's just try right where you are, and let's see how this works. I'm just gonna scoot forward so I can put the block behind me. But now just Baddha Konasana from here. So you're bringing the feet in. I'm gonna scoot back so see more of my legs. So there's my block. I'm bringing the legs in. I'm taking the feet together. And then I've got the brick. And I push the outer feet together and try to bring the knees closer to the floor. And you can see, this is 22 years of Iyengar yoga. When I started, I was here. I'm not kidding. I was here. I was running 50-mile weeks. So I was here. So I've come a long way, but I still have some to go. So I've got the hand on the brick. I've turned the shoulders out. You can have 2 bricks. That's helpful too. And I lift the front of the trunk up and I try to get those knees closer to the floor. There's lots of ways we could work on this. I could put you up against the wall, lots of modifications. I often sit when my husband's watching golf or NASCAR. I often sit with my back up against the wall and my legs working on Baddha Konasana. You can bend those elbows, lift the front of the trunk up, push your little toe side of your feet towards each other, and lengthen, grind to knee, grind to knee. Baddha Konasana. Okay, release. Grab a chair, any chair will do. Chair from the side. We're almost to the supine stuff. So I'm going to sit towards the very end of my chair. And I'm going to rock from side to side and move that buttock flesh away. You can do this if you don't have a chair, you can do it from your couch, Nina. It's fine. But what I like to see, can you have a right angle here between the knee and the shin, the thigh and the shin. All right, so I'm going to show, you'll do your right leg. I'll show with the left leg first. So I'm reaching on the inside of that leg, and I'm taking the foot and just putting the foot so that the ankle bone is not on my skin. Okay. Your right hand helps roll that thigh out. And eventually, you know, please be mindful of not torquing your foot, I call it. So you keep your foot and shin in the same plane as your knee. It's just Padmasana prep. How's that? Yeah, Padmasana prep. Lift the trunk up, soften in the groin, be even on both sitting bones. Okay, change legs. So this being my tighter side, if I do nothing with my hands, I don't use my, the hands God gave me to help me in this pose, I'm really off, right? So what do? I keep the foot that's on the floor pressing into the floor. I use that hand to help me roll that thigh out, but I have to keep both buttock bones level. And then I get somewhere in the pose. Padmasana prep. We're not doing Padmasana today, but we're going to do some prep. Okay, you don't have to do this, but you know, as you progress in the pose, we're going to do one more thing, but I just want to show you, as you start to progress in the pose, you've got a wall in front of you, and you use that wall and extend forward. Can you see? Look up. And that really gets in the groin. Okay, so now this first time for this second time, first leg. So you're doing that. I'm going to turn this way to show you. Will be your sit back, and you can watch me first, but see how I'm sitting all the way back in my chair. All right, now fair warning, if that was difficult, you're going to repeat that last way, okay? If it wasn't difficult and you want to go more, this is what I did to eventually be able to get to Padmasana, where, you know, I guess another thing I should probably tell you is that most of these things that I'm showing you, once I got them, they're there. They're always there. So that's why I kept on doing them. So here, so remember I went from here first, and now I go underneath and I bring that foot all the way into that crease of the hip, and I press that knee down. Okay, if that was difficult, you're repeating. Okay, now watch. Those of you who are moving on. So now I'm turning towards the bent knee. I'm going to cup your right knee, and you're turning towards the bent knee. With the hand that's holding on that bent knee, you lengthen the thigh towards the knee and turn. So it's a bit of a Parshva Ardha Padasana. Okay, spine erect, Mike, up. Lengthen. Don't fall back. So you're going backwards with the trunk. Don't go back. That's better. Turn, turn, turn. So eventually, you know, Padmasana is a narrow-legged pose, unlike Baddha Konasana. So that's why this was good for me to get that hand to help me turn more and keep those knees closer. Okay, second. Or actually, this is the third time, right? Your left leg, you started like that. Reach under. Get the shin to turn. You could just stay like this. If this is challenging, just stay like this. Lengthen the trunk upwards. Opposite hand crosses over to the bent knee. Back hand goes on your chair bar and turn. This is really good for the hips. Nice. Definitely an everyday pose for me. All right, and then release that leg. Okay. Get rid of your chair. We're gonna be at the wall for Supta Tadasana and Supta Padangusthasana. Have a strap. Make the strap just big enough for your, 8 or 10 inches for your foot to go in there. All right. All right. Very specifically, entry into Supta Padangusthasana is if you have the ankle flexibility. Can you see all of? See. You can see all of my feet. Change this. Yeah. Okay. So I've got my knees quite bent. Okay, and my feet are at the wall. That may not be, you may not have the ankle flexibility and you would just be like something like this. But if you have the ankle flexibility, use it, okay? So just put your strap down. Come onto your elbows. Okay. Now scoot your buttocks forwards, good 2 to 4 inches. So your sacrum is flat. See how much my knees are still bent? Okay, now I'm gonna hold on to the edges of the sticky mat, carefully walk my hands forward, put my back down. My knees are still bent. Okay, now I'm going to use the wall to help me press my legs into the floor. So I straighten the legs, and there should be no space behind, the floor and the backs of your thighs. So a very, very heavy elephant is standing on your thighs. You can take your hands and roll those top thighs in and down. Okay, you can still hold on to the edges of the sticky mat. And now lengthen your trunk away from your legs. This way. Trunk going this way, legs going this way. Okay, now keep your consciousness, your mind, all your attention focused on how that left leg and left leg is pressing down, left foot is staying into the wall. Make the mouth of the tiger shape with your hand. Put it in the hip crease. And now bend the knee and for Ardha Pavanamuktasana to start. So the hand is being held in that hip crease and you're bringing the knee in close. Okay, now you're keeping, watch as I keep, the idea is that this hip has to stay back, and then I reach for my ankle and I close the gap between the trunk and the thigh. So I get in tight here, and you might notice, I lost some of the wall here. So I'm going to scoot back in to the wall. Do it again. Be sensitive to your own pose. Okay, so the same hand is holding the top of the ankle, the opposite hand is holding your shin. And inhale, exhale. And keep your mind on how much this left thigh has to press into the floor. And your arms, you remember the Malasana, how soft and nice that felt on your groins? So now groin on that right side is completely passive. Okay, now you have your strap. Okay, do you see where your knee is? So technically, you should be able to keep your knee there and straighten the leg. But we all know tight hamstrings. So do what you can, make a lasso for your foot. Put it at the top of the heel or the bottom of the instep. And then see where your knee is. Take the leg up. Okay, now I am quite happy if we just have 90-degree legs today. So here's my 90-degree leg, so that this thigh, the left thigh, stays down. Okay, we're gonna get maximum length on the body, the trunk, away from the leg by taking the thumb and forefinger in between the strap. And I keep this leg pulling down into the hip socket, and then I take the arms overhead. Mind on your left thigh, pressing down and the foot into the wall. Suck your outer right thigh back into the hip socket and make that hip socket move into the midline of the body. Okay, now there are probably, 20 different ways to do Supta Padangusthasana. So I'm just showing you one of the ways, more, probably beginner level, that helped me be able to do the full pose. So then you're going to hold the strap in both hands for 2, and you're going to kind of guide it with the right arm, and the elbow is going to come, right elbow is going to come to the floor, and the left hand is going to pull the strap out. So Supta Padangusthasana 2. The toe doesn't turn down, the foot stays parallel to the floor. And what I like about this version is you can pull with the right hand, and you can feel that connection of that head of the femur into the socket. So hopefully you can feel that, and you haven't lost awareness about your left leg. Okay, now on the inhalation, lengthen the trunk away from that leg, that's left leg, and then on the exhalation, turn your ribs or move your ribs from right to left. It's almost like you're hitting out the left side of the rib cage towards the floor. Okay, we could do this a long, long, long time, but this is just a way to do the pose. Release, scoot back into the wall, bent knees. I have to scoot over a little bit so I have enough room. Okay, so scoot it in, side 2. Lay down, stretch the legs. Mouth of the tiger with the left hand, right consciousness, brain, mind power, that right thigh pressing down, right foot pressing into the wall. You got your strap nearby still, but you're taking the mouth of the tiger into that hip crease. Hold right hand holds near the top of the shin. Every step of the way, every part of the pose, ask yourself, where am I working? Where am I underworking? Where am I overworking? Okay, then have your strap. Put it on the foot, observe where your knee is, and then take the leg up straight. Keep pressing into the foot that's at the wall, press the thumb, right thigh down. 90 degrees is fine for today. Yes, you're stretching the back of the leg. Yes, you're stretching the hamstring. But it's more today, it's more about that connection from the outer thigh to the hip socket. And then squeeze those two hip sockets in towards the midline. Okay, then take the straps between the two hands, inhale, exhale, reach the arms overhead. Nobody has sent me any chats, so I assume everybody's doing okay. Imagine I'm standing over you and I'm pushing into your heel and I'm driving that buttock bone more towards the floor. Okay. And now you're holding the strap with both hands, okay? And you're taking the leg out right where it's at and out to the side. The left elbow is going to be some support and the right arm is going to stretch out to the side. Keep both shoulders down. And when you're at your maximum could be here. Because if you're here and this whole side body lifts up, then you need to find the happy medium. Back in. Okay, and then turn the front of the body from left to right and almost hit out a little bit with those right ribs. Don't let the right side of your waist come off the floor. All right, and then bring that leg up and release. All right, we're gonna do the Paridrita version, and I'm gonna show you how I'd like for you to, if you don't have two mats, that's fine, you don't have two mats. I happen to have two mats here. I'm just gonna take this way. They're not lots. Have your bolster nearby. This one. I think you can see the top one better, right? Yes. So this one's going to be this way. And this one's going to be this way. So I've got a T. A T. Here we go. So you can see that. Yeah, that's good. Let me know if this is not, if you can't see. I'll look up that. So you'll put your bolster on the left side. The wall is no longer a factor. You're going to keep resisting with the bottom leg for the revolve version, but you're not going to have the wall to touch. So do you see how I'm able to hold on to the edges of my sticky mat? I kind of tuck the shoulders under and I'm kind of pulling the arms apart. Okay, so then here I am. I come up with both legs. Okay, so then you'll take your left leg down. Okay, so the revolved version, the right leg going to the left side. Watch as I resist. I'm going to, this leg will turn a little bit, but just don't let it flop. because this version is more for the shoulders and the trunk. So I take that leg over, and you can see it's resting on the bolster. The left leg is resisting, and now I will work on the shoulders to turn back and to revolve the abdomen and the chest up towards the ceiling. Soften your throat. You may have this bolster wherever it makes you happiest. I almost would like it there underneath my foot. And now I work on holding the mat and tucking that shoulder and turning the trunk back to face the ceiling. Resist with that bottom foot. So it's a little bit, it's for our shoulders and it's for the abdominals. Let me see how you're doing in this. Chaya, you should like this one. Yeah. Make sure that your leg goes to something, and the leg must be straight. So Lena, I would, get that black and white pillow and put that on top of the white pillow. Yeah. Try to keep the right shoulder down and turn. It's almost as if you're trying to scoot the back body more underneath you, right? It kind of slides forward and yeah, just get it over there, Becky, wherever it's comfortable. Get it over there. Now go to work on the abdomen pulling towards the floor, the shoulders tucking under, and the right shoulder. Yes, good. Can't see Kathy. Kathy disappeared on me. That's nice, Ian. Yeah. Shoulders down. Nice, Chaya. Yeah, it's okay if you have the strap, but you really shouldn't have to be holding on to the strap. I really kind of wanted you to hold both edges of your sticky mat to tuck the shoulders on and relax that top leg. Let it be supported by your bolster. And now go to work on the abdomen and the shoulder rolling under. Okay. Now inhale and come back up. Just let the legs rest there for a minute with both feet on the floor. Move that bolster over to your right side. So this is the Parivrtta version of Supta Padangusthasana. It's sometimes called D or 4, version 4. So here I am with the knees bent. I'm holding on to the edge of the sticky mat. I kind of tuck those shoulders under. It's like I'm pulling the mat apart. All right. And then let's see. We just extend the right leg forward like Supta Padangusthasana. Left leg up. Okay, exhale and just take it over there. Let it touch down. Now, I'm not don't know why that's not on. Sorry about that. So I wasn't being mindful of the left shoulder. I just put the left leg over there and my left shoulder is up. So I use the hold of the sticky mat to tuck the shoulder under and pull. So I'm kind of scooting the back body more towards the floor, tucking the shoulder blades in. Resist with that right leg. It'll roll out some, it's okay, but keep it active. Keep reaching. And that top thigh, where where we had the mouth of the tiger in that crease, it pulls away from the trunk. Pull the abdomen back towards the floor. Okay. My favorite way to do Parivata. Shukta Panusasana. Okay, and then bring that leg back up. Sit both feet back on the floor. And roll and come up. In the interest of time, we are going to skip 3. And because we really kind of covered it, I was debating about this at the beginning, but we covered it in the seated Padmasana work. So if you do that and that gets easier, then you'll be able to do Supta Padmasana 3. All right, so just finish with both knees into your chest. See that the back has elongated, so the top of the waist towards the buttock flesh. Soften the groins and bring those knees in. Okay, and then roll over to your side and come up. Okay. Those of you who have been in class with me at the studio have done this. We took the time and we did this. We're not going to take the time to do the 2-strap version of this, but I think everybody can benefit from it in some way. So 1 strap is fine for today, but it's called straight jacket. Okay, so now we're going to the second, third. Okay, so we did the first part of the class was the more supine or supta poses. And now we're going on to, then we did the supine, then now we're going on to the shoulder work. So it's not terribly difficult. It's better if you have a longer strap. I'm going to show with a shorter strap because it can be done with the shorter strap. This is just a 6-foot strap. So I'm putting the strap on. I've got it in half, right? And I put it right at the top of the arm, bottom of the shoulder blades, bottom of the armpits. You can see that. All right, now watch. I take it, cross it, dive into it. You see? I've crossed it, dive into it, make sure that the right strap gets caught by the left hand, the left strap gets caught by the right hand. They're selling these things on well, everywhere, but I see them on my Facebook feed that does this for you. But you can do it yourself. You don't have to buy anything. So here I am feeling when I pull down on those hands. If I had a longer strap, my arms would be straight, but that's okay. This is a straight jacket with elbows bent. So I do my best Tadasana, either feet together or apart. I press into the floor, lift the thighs, take them back, and then pull on that strap and draw the shoulders back. Head back. It should feel good to walk around the house like this. See how you guys are doing. If you have a long strap, it's even better. Pull the strap down and slightly forward. Elbows are bent. Unless you have a really long strap, then you can straighten your arms. But you'll feel how the strap helps lift this armpit chest, roll the shoulders back and the shoulder blades down and in, down and in. So my hands are right here at my, just below my waist. So if you were to get rid of that strap, just let go of it, pretty nice Tadasana results. Nice. And Donnie, can you show me a side view? Thighs back, waist back, buttocks down. Chin up, Brian. Mike, did you get it? Oh, you got a really long strap. Yeah. Now cross it in front, dive your head into it, take it behind your back. Okay, and now reach. So the opposite hand holds the opposite strap. So Amelia, you could work on your thighs going back a little bit more. Waist and ribs back. Push into your feet, lift up. More still, Amelia. Thighs back, thighs back. That's nice. Yeah. Lena, just be aware of what your feet are doing. They're okay apart, but they need to be parallel to the edges of your sticky mat. Okay. So there you are in Tadasana. Okay, now you have a strap still, and you're going to make a small loop in your strap. Oh, small loop. Hold it in your left hand. Okay, so here I am. It's in my left hand. I'm reaching the arm up. And as I reach the arm up, the left arm has to roll from outside in. So this is called prying, as you pry something open, or another nice way to say it is prizing, because when you pry something open, you get a prize. What's the prize? Open chest, open shoulders. So watch, my bottom elbow is always going to stay straight. So here's your prying. Can you see? I'll show you from the back. So what the arm that's up is not getting the work. The work is coming into the bottom shoulder that's got to stay back. I'll show you from the side. So instead of this, the bottom shoulder stays back. Okay. If Gomukhasana is a difficult pose, this is an everyday pose. Oh, that feels good. Okay, second side. Put it in your right arm, right hand. Take it up. Reach behind with your left. Bend the right elbow. Don't bend your left. Sorry, I'll show you from the side. And then back, up. All right. So open up the left armpit chest and keep the left shoulder back. How's it going? Sometimes this is hard for people to get. Don't, or I'll say it the positive way, Ryan, lift your chin. Lift your chin up. Yes. So the bottom arm is always straight and the top arm bends. Don't let the bottom arm bend. Don't let the bottom arm bend, Becky. So wherever you can hold the strap is, that. So let's say I'm here and it's bending. So do I hold back more? I hold lower on the strap and my arm always stays straight. Okay, don't let the bottom arm bend. Reach back, reach back. There you go. Yes, chin up. Okay, so this is just Gomukhasana work. All right, release from that, Gomukhasana work. And now just Paschima, which means behind, Baddha Hastasana. So I'll show you, we had the left arm from behind first. So my left arm reaches from behind, holds anywhere it can hold. Okay, if this is it for you, that's where you're going to be. Try not to hold on the joint itself. So either below or above the elbow. All right, so now the work is bottom elbow stays straight. Go back, go back, go back. Lift the chest. Do you feel the opening in your bent elbow shoulder? Yeah? So it's simple. It's not very difficult. Just go back, back, back. Change sides. right arm reaches, hold the left above the elbow or below it, go back. So when you go back, careful that this doesn't happen, right? You have to stay lifted, go back, go back. So it's still, you're prying, prying open that bottom shoulder, so that bottom shoulder doesn't roll forward, it rolls back, and the shoulder blades move closer to each other and closer to the spine. Okay, we could spend a lot of time on that, but we're not, so that's that. Okay, so now, if you still need your strap, I'll show with the strap. Put the strap in the right hand. Let me show you something. The left hand is gonna go back, and watch. So do you see how I'm kind of move, maybe this way is the best, back and forth. Every time I go back, I walk the hand up the back a little bit more. So it's like I'm wiggling, literally wiggling the left hand up the back. Then I've got the right hand up, bend it, and I either hold the strap or the fingers. The strap or the fingers. Chin up. Legs, feet pressing, legs strong in your Tadasana. Okay, so all that work that we did on the bottom elbow, bottom shoulder. Where is that bottom shoulder? Is it forward? Draw it back. Is it forward? So here, some of you I see already. I see. You may have caught, but this shoulder is forward. So draw it back. Push your hand, the left hand, into your back. And move that upper arm away from your body, back. Can you see that? This is the work that's needed in Gomukhasana. Okay, release. Stretch the arms at your sides, Tadasana. Okay, now walk your right arm. So this is the Paschimottanasana, right? You did this. So now I'm just asking you to wiggle, press your hand into your back, and get the hand as high up your back as possible. You have your strap if you need it on your left hand, and then reach. Okay, now if your shoulder is forward, what are you going to do? Push into your back with your right hand and move that shoulder back. Chin up. Push into the hand and move your shoulder back. Hopefully, I'm kind of unfortunately having to rush through this Gomukhasana. So try, Kathy, to get your lower arm, the arm that's up, a little bit more vertical. Looks too easy, Becky. You might be ready for stage 2. And not Kathy L, but the other Kathy, thighs back still. Nice, Amelia. Mike, I can't see your top arm, but your bottom arm looks good. Can you turn around? So show me other way, other way. Keep going. So you show me your bottom elbow. Yes, now draw, no. Stay there. Okay, now draw that right shoulder back. Right, there you go. Push your hand into your shoulder blades. Yeah, and this is, I know with your shoulder injury, this is difficult. But this is an everyday pose. Okay, now this is just to see how you're doing. So let's see, shoulder circumduction. It's it's not a yoga pose. It's just from all that work. Let's see how well how open your shoulders are. So I've got my hands definitely wider than my shoulders. Can you see? And you may have to see how you do with this, but you're just standing with your feet apart, and it's back, fluidly, and forward, back, and forward. Keep the shoulder blades down. So if this was difficult, my shoulder blades would come up. So I keep the shoulders down. Complete circle. Do 10 times. And if it gets easier, guess what? You make the strap tighter. As it gets easier, the strap's tighter. Don't let the elbows bend. Ooh. Feel that? Yeah. Well, it looks like you're having some success. Elbows straight, shoulders down. Nice, Becky. Amelia, yeah. Mike, are you okay? Okay. All right. So there we go. Chair. Sit in chair. Sit in the chair. So this is just another kind of, Kathy Lindauer, we did this earlier this week. So you're just seeing what all that work did for you. Sit in your chair, roll the thighs in. Come forward, hold the edges of your, I'm just long, so I have to go a little bit forward. So you're like the masthead of a ship, right? So what we don't want is the shoulder to come forward, so roll the shoulders back, lift up. Okay, now you lean forward, interlace your palms, and head down, and arms straight up to the ceiling. Move the shoulder blades in toward each other and in towards the spine. You are allowed to, experimenting, as long as your consciousness is there, to pull the arms apart. To pull, sorry, not the arms, the hands. Pull the hands apart and move those shoulder blades deeper into your back. The arms should be, perpendicular to the floor or vertical, straight up and down. So Amelia, bring your arms more overhead. Yeah, yeah. Good. So that's just sort of checking to see how we're doing. All right, come on. Put your chair against the wall. There is a lot more shoulder opening work that we could do, but that's some of the basics that I tried to do every day early on in my yoga work. Take your sticky mat and put it, if you have a wall, put it alongside the wall. This is for the second thing. We've got this chair here. All right, this is, I ran for, I don't know, 27 years, something like that. So I had tight calves. So I'm not sure where your calves are, but see, I'm gonna go, and Sopo's gotta go. All right, so I've gotta put my feet up my chair. Woo. Toe mounds up my chair. Can you see that? And now just lean a little bit forward and stretch those calves out. There's other ways to do this, but this is just one. It's a nice stretch for the calves. Calf stretch. Toe mounds up the chair. Okay. Everybody got it? Try not to lean, so, don't let the buttocks go back or you won't feel it, but bring the buttocks forward and try to stand mostly up. Press your thighs back. Oh, okay. Toe mounds. Get rid of, actually put your chair. Oh yeah, get rid of your chair. Got a strap? Adho Mukha Svanasana work. So, take your strap. So it's right on your elbow points. If I bend my elbow, it stays on my elbow points. Okay, kneel down. Hopefully that last calf stretch will help you get your feet down on the floor. So this is Adho Mukha Svanasana work. So oftentimes we struggle with the elbows bending. So I place the hands just a little bit in front of the shoulders. I walk my knees just a little bit back. I tuck my toes under. Okay, I press the hands, pull up through my arms, hover, and then reach the arms back, push the floor with my hands forward, and take my Adho Mukha Svanasana. So because you've got the bell, hopefully you feel pretty strong and you can push your chest closer to your legs. Let your head hang. Use the muscles of your thighs, so pull up the skin on the kneecaps, thighs, press up, press the tops of your thighs back. Okay, exhale and come down. Have a rest. Was that helpful? If that was helpful, you can stay with the arm strap. Okay. Walk back and place your heels on the wall. If it's convenient and you can be near a wall. Still got the straps. Okay. So now I push my hands, turn my inner upper arms, hover, and then straighten the legs. Push, push, push. And you see how high up my heels are? So I try to keep the height of the legs now and get the heels to come closer to the floor. That's fine if they don't. They could be here today. Push. So you have something to press, the strap helped you with your arms. Now the wall, you've got something to press your legs into, to stand up with those legs. And to push your trunk, your chest closer to your legs. All right, so that was Adho Mukha Svanasana work. There's a lot more where that came from. We're running out of time. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, just stand with your left side along the wall and do Utthita Ardha Bakasana. So this is it. Bakasana is done from the floor with your belly down. So you're just, and if you can't reach your foot, you have a handy dandy strap. And it could be something like this. But if you can reach your foot, reach your foot and push your toes like towards your buttocks and roll that right shoulder back. So you're just getting a nice length here in the front of the pelvis and the quadricep. Don't let the knees separate. I'm just turning a little bit to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. All right, and then change, turn around. You can grab your toes better than the ankle. Toes, push those toes, extend that top of the ankle. Draw that shoulder back, elbow back. And then release. All right. We're gonna go to a couple of backward extensions. Just to say we got there, because I'm running out of time and I don't want to go too much over. But this would be a good place, if you were practicing this sequence on your own, to put in some standing poses. Okay? So you put in Utthita Trikonasana, Ardha Chandrasana, Parsvottanasana. Those are my 3 everyday standing poses. So that's what we would do if we had a ton of time, and you'll get this in the Microsoft Word doc or PDF document. Okay, so now, shoulder rolling. Have your strap. We've done this in class a few times, but I'm going to call this shoulder rolling bridge pose, or shoulder rolling Chatuspadasana. Now, because of all that action that we had with the Gomukhasana work, hopefully you have that side wall of the chest open, the shoulders are open. Okay, so I'm going to make my strap, it could be anywhere from 4 to 5 inches to 8 to 10 inches. All right, I'm going to put it on one hand, my right hand, sit down. And so what did I call it? Shoulder rolling Chatuspadasana. So I'm leaning over towards the right shoulder. I'm tucking that shoulder under like that. So I'm rolling and tucking. Okay, now I reach the other hand, so I've got both hands in the loop, like this. Both hands in the loop, so between the thumb and the index finger, like that. I think everybody should be able to do this. Shoulder rolling, put both hands in your loop, tuck both shoulders under, press into your feet, lift the buttocks, use that gluteus muscle, not just your hamstrings. Okay, so now I've tucked as much as I can, and I lie on my arms. Come on down to my arms. Now push into your feet. Watch here if you can still look at the camera. I push into my feet to further roll the trapezium down towards the waist and move the shoulder blades in. So this is me not doing it, doing it. So the buttocks can lift a little bit. They don't have to. If you just push your heels, toes can come up and you'll feel that rolling. So it's just shoulder rolling, Chatuspadasana. Open up the chest. Tuck the shoulders. Keep tucking. It's nice when the sticky back catches your shoulders, right? It catches my shoulders. And I lift the side walls of the chest up, the bottom shoulder blades up and in. You can rest the trunk down completely on your arms and have a nice opening. Okay, so if backward extensions are difficult, that would be a good way to start your backward extensions. And then we'll do one very gentle chair. I'm going to call it a hybrid between chair Viparita Dandasana and chair Urdhva Dhanurasana, but it's neither really. So chair, bolster or blanket stacks or pillows, whatever you have. The long way. And what I like about this is it totally protects my neck. And some of you know I had some 2 whiplash injuries over the last few years, so I want to be careful with that. So I sit down towards the end of my bolster, scoop the buttocks forward, and I want to curve my neck over the front of this bolster. So it's gonna move on me, of course. So there, that's it. Okay, and if you feel confident, you can stretch the arms overhead and straighten the legs. So it's a little bit chair, Dvipada Viparita Dandasana, or chair, both legs extending. And it's a little pre-Urdhva Dhanurasana, pushing up from the floor into Urdhva Dhanurasana. So strong legs, press the thighs down, extend the legs completely, and stretch your arms overhead. So I haven't addressed in some of these poses exactly how long to stay, but this is where your sensitivity, your own discrimination comes into play. And you have to ask yourself, how long can I stay with sensitivity, being aware. Now, if it hurts your lower back, you keep the knees bent, but you keep working on the hamstrings pulling up, the sacrum lifting up, and you would be here. But I love it because the trunk is completely supported, my head is completely supported. Okay. Come up, hold the edges of the chair, head back, and lift up carefully. Just sit on your bolster there. Bring your knees and feet together. Take one turn to the right. Chair Varabhajasana. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn more. Don't turn from your hips. Turn from your waist, your rib cage, your chest, your shoulders. And then back to the front, and then turn to the left. So that's the very bare minimum, back bending, backward extensions. The other ones that I would recommend that you do on a daily basis, if there would be time, which there is not today, that would be, true over the chair, Dvipada Viparita Dandasana. Most of you know which pose I'm talking about. It's this one, right? Wasn't going to do it today, but just to show you, if once that back bend that I just showed previously becomes easy, then this one would be next. And you do this one until it becomes where it's always there for you. Okay, and then that's again using your discriminative intelligence. I'll just show real quick. So this is the beginner version. And I'm not going to teach the intricacies of the pose today. You could also have your head on self-support. But my legs are working. I'm using the chair to help lift coil my spine in and to lift my chest. To come up, head back, use the chair seat. All right, so that's more on the way of back bending. All right, we'll just do a very gentle Shavasana now to end. I'm gonna actually, I'd like to teach you how to do Shavasana because it is a true pose in its own right. It's just not flopping onto the floor. So the wall's not a factor, so you would want to be enough away from the wall. I like to have a head blanket. Where's my head blanket? All right, so I'm here with my knees bent, quite bent actually, and I come onto my elbows. Then I scoop the buttocks down until the sacrum is flat, and then I watch my legs, and I can extend 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, either way. But my legs and my feet are together. And I'm lying in a straight line. You should always observe that you're lying in a straight line. And I keep the legs well extended. Then I walk the hands forward. I hold on to the edges of my sticky mat. I'm not gonna get the head blanket yet. Hold on to the edges of my sticky mat and tuck my shoulders. Tuck my shoulders. Okay, now what happened when I did that is this area got short. So I'm gonna bend the knees again. Scoop the buttocks forward. Extend the legs. Look to see that I'm straight. Okay, now I'm gonna move the hands out about 40 to 45 degrees away from the body and purposely turn the thumbs towards the floor. See, I'm turning the thumbs to the floor. What does that do? It opens my armpit chest more, helps me tuck my shoulders a little bit more. Okay, then I literally let go, let loose. So as I let go, the legs, one should not turn out more than the other. So I've been working on this a lot lately. So mine don't anymore. I have that awareness. If they do, you know, you would belt your calves or your feet. Have a couple deeper, longer, slower inhalations and exhalations. And let your body melt into the floor. Let it become heavier and heavier and heavier yet still. Close your eyes completely. If you have glasses on, you can take those glasses off. And that, you know, sensitivity goes from so much, you know, the physical body. You should be aware at the beginning of your Shavasana that you're in a straight line and you feel even on all parts of the body where you should feel even. You don't feel heavier left to right, top to bottom, etc. But then the sensitivity moves from the physical body to the mind. And you're trying to go to that place that's quiet, and that's always there. And as you go to that place, you might find that your breath becomes softer. See that, especially across your face, your eyes, your eyeballs aren't jutting from place to place. But across your face is completely soft. Let loose the lower jaw from the top jaw. Let loose the tongue towards the bottom palate. Be with the space inside.
that you worked on creating today. Be with the intelligence, the sensitivity that you worked to find today. And go to that quiet place. Let go, let loose.
So in my rereading of Edwin Bryan's commentary on the Yoga Sutras, he talks about in each asana, we should find steadiness, relaxation, dignity, and grace. Observe yourself and see if you have found that steadiness, relaxation, dignity, and grace. Observe it. Be there. It's not just in Shavasana that we are to find this, believe it or not. In every pose, we can find it. It's available. Okay, now very, very quietly and mindfully, gently, fold the limbs in one by one. Yeah, you can bend the knees into the chest, do what you need to do. You know, this is where it's good to be sensitive to your own needs. You might need a twist, you know, put both feet on the floor near the buttocks and take the knees to the right. But put the feet on, try putting the feet on the floor, Ryan. Yeah, feet on the floor and just take the legs over. And try the other side. Keep your eyes closed as long as possible. Once the eyes are open, the mind gets busy. So, you know, the eyes are only doing their job, right? So now you don't want them to do their job. Just keep the eyes closed. And then roll to your right side and then stay there for 1 or 2 breaths and then use your left hand to help you push up until you're almost upright. And then the right hand comes in. Eyes can still be closed. Bring your hands to your heart. Honor, you know, the practice, your practice. Honor the tradition. Dating all the way back to Patanjali. Honor the format, which is Austin Yoga Trees, allowing us to do this class today. The community that is Austin Yoga Tree. Namaste.